Hey everyone, it's Dr. Grubbly, and today I want to do a quick video going over some bounties that are available that even fairly casual players can complete, potentially, in order to make real money during the Gauntlet. If you're not familiar or aware, during the Gauntlet there are bounties that are posted by players, people that are contributing to the prize pool for the Gauntlet. And aside from just like the racing aspect where you're racing for the boss kills where you get a certain number of points and all that, there are separate bounties which are specific tasks that you do and they get a monetary reward. So for instance, this one is the first player to provide proof of doing a full 10 out of 10 crop rotation will win $50. No limitations how it's obtained. The money amounts are sent via PayPal. Any physical item rewards are sent differently, but I'm just addressing the money because that's what's going to be relevant for most of the non-like racer, more casual people, like myself, except the ones who are probably better than me. All right, so the majority, what I'm going to be focusing on are the ones that are actually like, completable by your average person. So first up, we've got a whole lot of bounties from Rutu, and this one right here, 9 lives, is one of the good candidates. There are probably a lot of people that are just going to go for this as their first thing. 9 lives, the first player to provide proof of dying 9 times while dual wielding cat's paws will win $299. So about $300 just for going in and ripping 9 times in a row while wearing these 2 items. Now specifically, so, okay, how do you go about doing that? So if we pull up the wiki and we look up cat's paws, okay, cat's paw is a weapon base. This requires level 17. So this is going to be showing up in Act 2, I believe, which means you just have to take 9 separate characters to Act 2 and, put 2 claws on each one to have them die in order to make $300. You can do this by getting 1 to Act 2 or 3 or whatever, and farming them, prep all 18 of them because you need 2 for each character, and then do whatever your fastest leveling tech is in order to level the characters back up to level 17. All you have to do is hit 17. You could even hit that in Act 1 if you get the experience, or if you want to go past that, that's fine. Whatever your strategy is to get the experience, you just need to get the second, or I should say, after the first one where you farm up the cat's paws, you get 8 characters up to level 17, you just kill them off real fast. And then you submit your proof where you presumably you're going to do this all 9 characters right in a row, make for an easy video to submit for your proof, and boom, you got $300 if you're the first one to do it. While I mentioned that, actually, in order to claim the bounties, there are specific instructions on how you do it. You go to the rules here, and then let's see where it is. So these are the actual bounties. I'll put a link to this Discord. This is Zizaran's racing Discord, POE Community Racing, but this is where the official channel for the Gauntlet is. I believe it's either, okay, so over here, Merc bounties and Flash bounties. They have, so Merc bounties are not specifically for mercenaries, it's for all the bounties during this mercenary event, because the Gauntlet is run with the Mercenary League. So this has all your instructions for how you have to do it. Your easiest bet is either having recording software, or if you're streaming on Twitch or something like that, just doing like a clip of it, or just taking that VOD. However you want to do it, you just have to be able to submit. Probably doing something like a Twitch VOD and being able to post the link to that section of it is your fastest way to submit a proof. If you have to record on your PC and then upload the video, and then wait for that to upload to YouTube and then post the submission for the first player to do sort of bounties, you're going to miss your chance. So anyway, let's go back to the list. So we said 9 lives bounty for dying 9 times with 2 cat paws. That's the first really good, quote unquote easy one. Then we've got, let's see, Lonely Warrior is not, that's divination card. Act 5 Katava with only magic gear. That's for the people who are very skilled. And also you're going to be over leveling for that one. So that's not really a racing one, but it is an option. I saw a video of some guy doing it. I think it was like a 10-minute fight for him. It was very cool. This one, Ephemeral Edge Duskblade, if you destroy one with 15% of players' max energy, so I think that's the top roll on it, you get $200. That one you can potentially hit just by being in like the level 30 something range. That's, I believe, the item level for where it drops. So if you're lucky and you drop one and it's top roll, you could win that. Otherwise, people are probably going to get it later on by target farming it, which is a whole separate topic, but that's one way. All right. Not Whispers. I don't remember Whispers of Doom. Let's just double check this one. Oh, because he said it's not Whispers, it's Whiskers. So it's a cute little word. Golden, golden, golden. Oof. Okay, that's a big ask in a SSF. Okay, but if you get 3 golden oils, this is later on in maps. That's $200 if you do it, which honestly it's probably worth farming for most people. Okay, delving down to the 3 bosses is, if you're good at delving, that's probably achievable depending on how you can build for the Gauntlet. I believe the bosses all show up in the 300 to 350 range. I could be wrong, but I know certainly like all the Crystal King does. So you only have to go down that far. Let's see. So this one, if you could honestly, this Sanctum placeholder one, the first player to have proof of having a relic with 2 additional rooms revealed as the mod will win $200. So that one, you could luck out in your first Sanctum and you get a free Sanctum in the quest line. I do believe that all the relics can drop from the quest one. Maybe not all the unique ones, but magic ones like that with the 2-room reveal. You could be lucky on just the quest one at the end of at the end of Act 10. So that's one option. I don't know where this contract is. Could be low level. Contract the rescue. Let's check the wiki real quick. Pull that back over. Contract find rescue. Contract the rescue. Level 75. Client Kurai, and it's lockpicking level 4. So you have to go for it, but it is a quest line one. I don't know if it what the order is, but it's already, you'll have gotten your lockpicking characters up to level 4. But so that one, if you go for that, if you go for that bounty, that is, what did we say? I think it was $99. Yeah. Cat Lives Matter. $99. So $100. Now this one, I'm not a cat. This one is interesting to me personally. First player to provide proof of killing Act 10 Katawa while having aspect of the cat and having cat in their character's name will win $99. So this is most easily going to be achieved by running Wild Speaker. That's the ascendancy for Ranger, where over here you get Flash of Teeth. It gives you level 30 aspect of the cat. This was one of the meta builds during Frisia event, which was the deck stacking Flicker Strike on the Wild Speaker. I played this a couple times during Frisia. I loved it. It will take work. I do actually have a guide for this. I never put out the video because it was like too late in Frisia. But I put together a build for this, and honestly also that was trade oriented. But I'm going to try and do some quick revisions to that build to have, as a build people can go to for trying to run Flicker to complete that bounty. So look forward to that. And so that's, what do we say? That's $100. All you got to do is have your character name with cat in it, and then have a build that can do aspect of the cat. Easiest to do on Wild Speaker because you get it. Otherwise, you have to farm the beasts to craft the gear, which some people might say that's easier. And as a side note, just because you're going with this aspect of the cat does not mean that you have to run Flicker Strike. It's just this, being a Wild Speaker or any ranger and speccing into Wild Speaker for that $100 would be the easiest way to get it without farming beasts. Then we've got Stupid Bounty First player to provide proof of hiring Cat G. Rue in King's March. I don't know what class that is. Let's look it up. I don't know what level the character is. If it's like a level 5 worker, that's later on. Cat G. Rue. King's March. Do we even have a list of the names? Recruitment. I don't know. I feel like this would be something that would be on the there's something library, not the Forbidden Library. I forget. There's a Discord server that Sir Gog mentions in a number of his videos about it's a Discord server from POE players that are very focused on like information gathering and the technical side of things. And I feel like that's the sort of information they would have gathered. I didn't know there was a worker named Kajiru. I'm assuming there is because like it's there as a bounty and there's no comment about like this is a fake thing, just donating money. So it could be an option, especially if it's a low level worker. Let's see. This one also. I'm not Captain Chance. First player to provide proof of chancing a unique item will win $99. You find chance orbs during the campaign. You do that. If you're lucky and you get that in the first couple and you're the first one to do it, you win an easy $100. And chance orbs drop in Act 1, so that's available very early. And then also, first player to provide proof of chancing snakebite assassin myths will win $100. So again, back to the wiki. If we look at snakebite, they're level 58. So this one, what's level 58? Is that Act 4, I think? 4 or 5 maybe? You get to the area, actually, sorry, 58. Yeah, that's probably 6, 7 maybe. You get to a level 58 zone, and then you start chancing assassin's myths. And you also, I wonder if that counts with gold gambling from Faustus. I don't think so. I think you have to use a chance orb for this, or later on, if you get to maps, you can use Gwenin to try and chance any assassin's myths that are over item level 58. That's what Gwenin's mechanic is in POE1 for anyone who's a POE2 player. Her mechanic is the same as a chance orb. It just has really low chances to give you a unique item, which so does a chance orb. So nothing surprising there. Let's see. No, Cirrus is a boss. Dying to Eater, no. Now, honestly, this one here, 692, doesn't exist. First player to provide proof of dying to Elder with all auras turned off. That's Elder. Sorry, I thought it was Exarch at first. I was going to say you could do the story versions, but you'd have to farm for this. So that's not a quick, easy one. I'm a dad gamer. Now, this one is another fairly quote-unquote easy if you can make it to the end of the gauntlet. You have to provide proof of killing Act 10 Katava. Sorry, I should say this is the first player to provide proof of killing Act 10 Katava. With the following requirements, will win $100. Note, you must receive the resistance penalty, proving that you have not killed Katava before. The character must be at least 72 hours old. So what this means is, if you think you're going to go for this, leave your game on for the whole 3 days, because the timer will constantly be running. Whereas if you log out, your timer stops. So you want to leave that going, and then please type /age in your submission. That will show how long the character is. It says /age. I thought it was /played is the time of play for that character, but try it. All right, so we still got more to go through. Then we've got here, again, going back to that Flicker Strike I was mentioning, first player to provide proof of killing the quest version of Eater of Worlds and Searing Exarch, doing 100% of damage with Flicker Strike, will win $99. So, again, I'm going to try and adapt my build, the build that I played, which I got a lot of input from people on Mage Fist's server, because he's like the big flicker expert. A lot of people over there have a lot of ideas, so that's where I built it. I had a lot of good input, so I just need to adapt this to be more Gauntlet friendly, so a lot tankier. But really, for killing these guys, you're really going to want to have just really high damage, even if your tankiness is low. Both bosses do not force phases, although you're going to have really, really strong DPS if you want to ensure that you do not. Also, it doesn't mention anything about portaling out, so especially for like the quest ones, you could portal out during the ball phase to skip that on Searing Exarch. So as long as your damage is good to do them in 1 to 2 phases, then that one can be doable. Wild Speaker is probably your best bet there. Alright, so now this one, it's not my fault. First player to provide proof of dying proof of their merc dying while they are linked to it will win $100. Note, your character will also die. So here, if we look up link skill, there are a number of links, and the earliest ones are level 34. So I think these are in Act 2. You'll have to look. You have to look up like which class this is on. I'm pretty sure it's Templar is for sure going to get them, and then of course Scion also gets, I think, all skills at all levels, something like that. I wonder. Let's see. Yeah, Act 4. Act 4 for Scion, quest reward. So let's just take a look and see what's the best one to go with. Vampiric Link, again, Act 4. I think all the link skills are going to be Act 4, but let's double check. Yeah, Act 4. Frigid Bond is 38, so no one's going to go for that because that's going to be later. Act 4, yeah, okay, so all the link skills are in Act 4. So you need to get to Act 4 and complete the Breaking the Seal with I guess that's with Petrus and Vanya. And that is going to give you the link skill, and then you can, if you've built the character for that specifically, then you go out, use your merc, have them link, take off all your merc's gear. Actually, you can't take it off, but you'll have to take an under-level merc. You're going to be in Act 4. So you want to keep one merc from Act 1, or go back and get one, but you really want to have this set up before you get there to save time for efficiency. You get your merc from Act 1 that will die when you are in Act 4. You get your link gem, you take them out into whatever zone, you link to them, and you have them get killed by the mobs, and you will die, and boom, you get your $100, and you get to reroll. This is not for us. This is not for us. This is not for us. Pinnacle boss, nope. If you are someone that can get high level and just can't do the harder things like the bosses and stuff, you could get $100 by killing yourself off to reflect damage. Try to die less than I do. First player to provide proof of dying at level 95 or higher to reflect damage will win $100. So that one, you just got to get there. You just have to be able to grind XP, which means you're someone who can make it through the campaign in Gauntlet and then grind XP, and then willing to kill your character at level 95. I'm not Steel Mage is the Apothecary, so nope. This one, nope. Fracturing, no. I haven't gotten to the point personally in Mercenary League of actually finding Xana. This one's just funny, better than peeing in a cup. First player to provide proof of fully zooming in on Xana for 10 minutes in a level 69 plus zone will win $69. Nope, what is wrong with this guy? This one, they say there's an example for this one. The Strand is a map, but it's like you have to get to a map. I don't know what level Strand is this league, but you just have to provide proof of dying to a mana siphoner, which is I think the blue circle thing that drains your mana, in Strand, and you'll win $99. Again, your character will die. You'll have to reroll. And then this one is, again, this is one that could be done. This might require a lot of skill, but this one is I'm playing POE2, so I love the name here. First player to provide proof of killing Mervale, that's the Act 1 boss, with the following condition will win $200. Note, must use 13 different skill gems and do damage with each one. So presumably let's say you have all your single leg skills, you're going to have your main damage skill, which is if you're doing it at that time, which most people are probably going to aim for if they're aiming for this $200. You've got your 3-link skill, that's your main damage, and or 4-link if they pushed far enough and they get lucky like that. And then they've got 12 other skills that are unlinked, and they just need to tapper for even 1 damage with each one. Probably going to need to use weapon swap. Might be a mix of spells and attacks. Don't know. Have to look into it. It's something that you're going to need to plan for. You have to do that, and then they would do all their main damage with the main skill. However, also, player cannot log out. Player cannot use a town portal scroll, so you're stuck in the arena. You have to do it full on. Player cannot use a Quicksilver flask or movement skills. So, and player must only use 1 mana flask and 1 life flask, just like PoE2. So, you can't dash out of the way of any of the exploding squids if they have that again. Those do a lot of fire damage. You can't run away from her. You can't get out of the zone if you run out of flask charges or you're about to die. You just you could, it's just you're going to have to restart that fight, just like in PoE2. So, kudos to whoever came up with that one. I think the 13 is a little ridiculous. Nobody actually uses 13 skills in PoE2. I'm one of those people that does enjoy PoE2, so get slightly defensive on it, but I also really love the challenge idea. All right, let's see if there are any other ones. This is with Ubers, so no. This one is interesting. Mr. Catface's bounty is first player to provide proof of killing Brutus in Act 1 with the following parameters will win $100. They may not use a mercenary, may not use any skills. Say that it must be empty sockets or support gems. So they cannot have skills in their usage bar or in their gear. May not use flasks. Your flasks bar must be empty. 100% of damage dealt must be with reflect damage. So you can wear gear, but like armor where you reflect 18 physical damage to attack, to melee attackers, or I think it's on the belt and chest. Probably on the shield also. But yeah, and then all reflected damage must come from Brutus hitting the player. So you have to build tanky, you have to build regen. For this, what you're probably going to want to do, any of these wheels right here, the recovery mastery wheel, it looks like the heart with the plus signs on it. Over here, this mastery has regenerate 50 life per second. In Act 1, this is really strong. In regular campaign for POE1, people tend to quote 300 life per act as the amount you want if you are playing, let's say, in hardcore and you're trying not to die, or just in general, you want to aim for 300 life per act, or a combo of life and energy shield, but really life per act, so that by Act 10 you've got 3,000 and then you're ready for maps. That gives you enough life pool to take the hits for the damage. So in Act 1, with the 300, the regen 50 life per second for the majority of Act 1 makes you very, very tanky. Let's see, recovery mastery. If I click this, let's see, recovery, I can spell. Mastery. So is this actually accurate? Not quite. Well, so actually this one is. So essentially what we're looking at here is starting points. A witch has recovery mastery right near there. You could get to that in one level 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. By level 10 you could grab that. Let's go over to the next one, over by the Templar starting area. There's this one over here, but that's pretty far away for a starting area if you're going for recovery. Over here for Marauder, they've got it up here. It's It's a little far. I don't see one down at the bottom. This is also pretty far. Duelist has none. Ranger does. Ranger has the one up here. Like you could rush this one. Same thing for Shadow, because Shadow starts over here. So basically Shadow, Ranger, or Witch are your best bets for rushing that node. But that's also just in general, just for any class. If they're going for something like that, you're going to want to build that. You're going to want to build tankiness because you need to be able to handle the hits. And then you just got to have the mods. And probably you want to be in an area of the tree that's going to have fizz scaling. So probably this is going to be like on Marauder. Might even rush endurance charges or something. You probably can do leech. I don't know if reflected damage counts as attacks. Let's look. Reflected damage. Item modifiers. Okay, so we got to go up higher to the mechanics. And we say the effect most common. Okay, so yeah, you can reflect other things also. Interaction with leech. Here we go. Leech is processed before reflect damage. Therefore, the order of operation is hit a target, leech, and then receive reflected. Oh, but again, this is talking reflect. This isn't talking like receive. Here we go. Wait, do they have it? This is all about us receiving reflect damage. It's not based around building your character on reflect damage against the enemies, because usually that is not done in POE1. Let's see. Reflect damage scaling. Reflected damage cannot be scaled by offensive mods, except for specific reflected damage, such as impale damage dealt to enemies impaled by you overwhelms. Lord of Steel's, what is that? Oh, it doesn't. Percent increased reflected damage. What is Lord of Steel? Unique Viridian Jewel. So that's not happening in Act 1. You can't do cast when damage taken or anything. It's pure. So I'm just wondering, can you do on the tree? When an attacker hits a defender that reflects damage, a percent of the damage taken by the defender, or a flat amount of damage, also known as thorns, hits the attacker. When the damage is dealt by a proxy or a minion, it will reflect back to that minion rather than the player. Damage over time cannot hit, so it can't be reflected, but the hits that apply it can. The amount of damage reflected is based on damage taken by the defender after mitigation, not their loss of resources. Okay, so like if you're building defenses, you are going to, like you still need to be taking, let's say you got 30 reflected fizz damage on your gear, you're still going to need to make sure that you are taking 30 damage to your life in order to reflect it. You can't, decrease it, so, build so much tank that you're taking like 10 damage from Brutus each time and expect to deal 30. For this reason, overkill is not can die reflected at all. Damage source can be mitigated by block and evasion, but it doesn't say scaling. Reflect damage scaling cannot be scaled by offensive modifiers except specific ones for reflected damage. Okay, yeah, so that's the answer. For this reflect bounty, it will just be the amount. You need to make sure that your tankiness and regen are enough to, to sustain. You're probably going to honestly want to be recoup and regen. That's your play. I don't Actually, truth is, you could go with energy shield also. It's not gonna refill, but so that's less relevant. But vitality aura for life regen. Over here, the damage recoup is going to be good. So you got 12% damage. It's life. Yeah, so this wheel right here gives 20% of damage recouped as life. So as long as it's not hitting you, you're recouping 20 of that over 4 seconds. You definitely want to take the regen 50 life per second because in Act 1 that is huge. Let's see. You're not going to worry about the corpses for 10% because you're not going to use corpses. You could do the recoup over 3 seconds if you were to take another one, but I don't think anyone who goes for this is going to have that many levels. Probably it's going to be something like Witch going for, over here. Because Brutus, like, you can get by level 8. Maybe people will go for, like, later on trying to farm more gear. So Witch is one option. I think, let's see who's got the shortest path to that. Dexterity isn't great for it. It'd be nicer if it was strength. But no, that's life leech. So gain on hit with attacks is not it for this, for this challenge. And that's the same one for Ranger and Shadow. So as far as recovery goes, I don't think that's it. I think Witch honestly might be the best one, ironically. Where else do we have recoup? Got that over there. That here. Yeah, honestly, that's pretty funny. Getting a Witch, having the gear to be able to put on, let's say, like an armor base, because you want to decrease the physical damage that's incoming. And you might need, what do we say? This was 10 points to get over there. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 12 to, level 13 or 15 would give you the big stuff that's going to boost your defenses. Again, I don't think energy shield's going to be relevant because he's hitting you too frequently for it to regenerate. So just the intelligence is fine. I wonder how Mind Over Matter works with Thorns. That's a good question, but that could be an angle too. Going out that way for Thorns, pick up a little strength. You've also got life, mana regen. That is an option, but you definitely want the recovery for the 50 life per second, and vitality, and basically like armor basis, because you do want to reduce the damage, especially in Gauntlet. Like, he's going to be dealing a lot of damage. I think you're going to want pure armor bases, with like pure damage, or sorry, pure armor rolls, and reflect on any gear pieces you can, and then if you can also get life regen on there, that's going to be your way. That's how you do that. Anyway, all that was to say, if you can complete that, this is $100. So honestly, it's not that hard. Like I said, I think a Witch is the way to go. You build for armor, you do that. If you can do that, it's only at level, like 15. So you might have to respec, but the gold is so cheap there, you could probably do that. And yeah, then easy $100. Anyway, sorry for the long-winded, delving into each of those things. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope everyone has a chance to win some money. It is a very fun event, especially for those of us who are a bit of a masochist, and try and actually go through with all the challenges. But even so, like, the excitement of being able to actually earn money playing a game that we love so much is wonderful. So, hope everyone has a great time. As I said, I'm going to try and put out a video about the wild speaker ascendancy to do with Flicker Strike. And if I can manage to put it out before Gauntlet, great, but I do still need to practice. If so, hope you'll check that out. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like, comment, etc. Tell me your thoughts. Feel free to hit me up on Discord as well. And also, I do stream on Twitch. Try and go for most nights during the week. So feel free to hit me up there as well. Thanks, guys. Take care.